An extreme example of social distancing. Detectives here at the Plano Police Department have actually been assigned now to work out of the city's public libraries for the time being because an officer tested positive here. In Dallas, where another officer has been diagnosed with coronavirus, police officers will no longer respond to calls about car break-ins, vandalism, or shoplifting.
This outbreak, a packed county jail, could be a disaster waiting to happen, not just for the inmates, but for all who work there. As News Channel 5's Nick Barris tells us, the Tennessee Supreme Court now wants to streamline efforts for early release of inmates.
It's really the only way. We're talking about inmates catching a break for early release. Why? To create badly needed space in jails and prisons for the outbreak that many expect is sure to come.
I have submitted a list of pregnant inmates. I've submitted a list of people who are 60 and over. I've submitted a list of every inmate who's due out in the next 365 days.
Davidson County Sheriff Darren Hall, who is also president of the National Sheriff's Association, has already released more than 100 inmates early, but he knows there needs to be more, not just at his jail, but every jail and prison in the country.
We've got to drive our numbers further down.
What's the concern? Simple. With so many people held in such close quarters, the virus would spread through a jail like fire through a hay barn.
Very difficult to manage because we can't separate everybody. If you're positive and there's 40 other people in the cell and everyone has exposure to you, how do we separate 40 people?
Hall says sheriffs and police chiefs across the country are furious. They can't get what they need to quickly test inmates for the virus and to protect their own staff.
I don't care what the press conferences are telling you. We do not have the supplies we need in our system.
The answer is to send inmates packing. To that end, the Tennessee Supreme Court just this week issued a first-of-its-type order telling judges to develop plans to reduce jail populations. It's safe to say in the coming weeks, more inmates will walk free, not endangering, but hopefully helping society fight the virus by not overcrowding the jails. So who gets out? Well, we're talking about non-violent offenders, typically those who are older with health problems and near the end of their sentence.
And Iran has temporarily freed about 85,000 prisoners in response to the pandemic. Last week, the UN asked Tehran to release them to help stem the spread of the virus. Zain Basravi has more on that from Tehran.
Certainly, as far as the security apparatus is concerned, they would not have released these prisoners if they weren't going to be able to bring them back into custody by April 3rd. That is the date for the end of this furlough. This was agreed to by the judiciary, by the justice system, or late in February, and they've been slowly releasing tens of thousands at a time. First, it was 35,000, then around 50,000, then last week it was around 70,000, and now we're seeing this latest number of 85,000 announced earlier today. Now, these prisoners are generally nonviolent offenders with short prison sentences. The number that has been announced today includes some political prisoners as well, but they all should expect to go back into prison in April. On the face of it, this certainly seems like a magnanimous decision by a government that is strict, that is
eyebrows. The release of some inmates from the Harris County Jail. Our Grace White is downtown with this story.
Here at the Harris County Jail, there has not been a confirmed case of the coronavirus, but that hasn't stopped one attorney from arguing his client was at risk. Behind bars at the Harris County Jail.
I can't imagine how victims' families would feel.
The coronavirus is starting to have an impact on court cases.
I think it's obviously, from our perspective, COVID-19 related. And where it stops, I don't know.
Andy Kahn is the director of victim services for Crime Stoppers. He says he's seeing violent offenders being released on PR bonds, meaning they don't have to pay a dime as long as they show up for court.
Some of the cases that I've been picking up, like I said, are extremely disturbing.
One case even got Houston Police Chief Art Acevedo tweeting, David Cruz, a man charged with murder, released on a PR bond after his attorney said in court documents, quote, the current COVID-19 virus is certainly going to strike the Harris County jail population and spread like wildfire among inmates.
And I'm scratching my head going through all these cases going, this makes zero sense.
Khan's concern is how many more cases are coming.
It's just a matter of time before one of these offenders, released on PR bond, continues their criminal career, and we certainly hope it doesn't result in bloodshed.
So around the world, they are releasing prisoners. They're saying it's not violent, but I've seen multiple posts saying murders have been released. And they're releasing prisoners from prison, but yet threatening to arrest us for not staying in our homes, threatening to arrest us for not staying 6 feet away from people while we're walking on a trail. It doesn't seem to add up. It seems contradictory. What do you think? Do you think that releasing prisoners really will help the spread of coronavirus? Do you think that releasing prisoners will raise the spread of coronavirus? Do you think that it's truly beneficial for the community to release all of these prisoners into society? While at the same time, there's also been reports of criminal activity in the area. There's also been reports of criminal activity in multiple communities, thefts, robberies,